Welcome to Reading Book. You are listening to The Necklace by MAUPASSANT. Let's begin.
Why, the dress you wear when we go to the theater. It seems pretty to me. He was silent, stupefied in dismay at the sight of his wife weeping. He stammered, "What is the matter?" By a violent effort, she had controlled her vexation and responded in a calm voice, wiping her moist cheeks. "Nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I." He was grieved but answered, "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions. Something very simple." She reflected for some seconds, thinking of a sum that she could ask for without bringing it with an immediate refusal and a frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Finally, she said in a hesitating voice, "I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it." He turned a little pale, for he had saved just this sum to buy a gun that he might be able to join some hunting parties the next summer, with some friends who went to shoot larks on Sunday. Nevertheless, he answered, "Very well, I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress." The day of the ball approached, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, "What is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2 or 3 days." And she responded, "I am vexed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself with. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party." He replied, "You can wear some natural flowers. In this season they look very chic." She was not convinced. "No," she replied. "There is nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women." Then her husband cried out, "How stupid we are! Go and find your friend Madame Forrester and ask her to lend you her jewels." She uttered a cry of joy. "It is true," she said. "I had not thought of that." The next day, she took herself to her friend's house and related her story of distress. Madame Forrester went to her closet, took out a large jewel case, brought it, opened it, and said, "Choose, my dear." She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels of admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she asked, "Have you nothing more?" "Why, yes. Look for yourself. I do not know what will please you." Suddenly she discovered, in a black satin box, a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. She placed it about her throat against her dress and was ecstatic. Then she asked in a hesitating voice, full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this? Only this?" Why, yes, certainly. She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then went away with her treasure. The day of the ball arrived. Madame Loisel was a great success. She was the prettiest of all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name, and wanted to be presented. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure, thinking of nothing but all of this admiration, this victory so complete and sweet to her heart. She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little salons since midnight, with 3 other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they had carried, whose poverty clashed with the elegance of the ball costume. She wished to hurry away in order not to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. Loisel detained her. "Wait," said he. "I'm going to call a cab." But she would not listen and descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage, and they began to seek for one, hailing the coachman whom they saw at a distance. They walked along toward the river, hopeless and shivering. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall. It took them as far as their door, and they went wearily up to their apartment. It was all over for her, and on his part, he remembered that he would have to be at the office by 10 o'clock. She removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass, for a final view of herself in her glory. Suddenly, she uttered a cry. Her necklace was not around her neck.
Want more stories? Just continue to listen to Reading Book. Have a nice day.